For 7 long nights, a dog waited in the freezing cold, refusing food, refusing shelter, waiting for the man he loved. But what nobody knew was that the same dog would soon save that man's homeland to confront a dangerous intruder hiding in the dark. This is the unbelievable, true-to-life story of Buddy, the dog whose loyalty never broke. In a peaceful small town, surrounded by quiet woods and long stretches of farmland, there stood a modest wooden house. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't big just. A simple home for a hard-working man named Mr. Rohan and his dog, Buddy. Now, Buddy wasn't purchased from a breeder. He wasn't a champion bloodline. He was adopted sin, muddy and trembling. The first day Mr. Rohan found him wandering near the forest. From that moment on, Buddy grew up loyal, protective, and deeply attached to the man who saved him. Every morning, Buddy would watch Mr. Rohan leave for work. He'd sit by the old wooden fence and wait patiently, his tail wagging every time a car passed, hoping it was his owner returning. By late afternoon, Buddy would be there at the gate, excited, ready to greet Mr. Rohan with jumps, licks, and soft whines of joy. But one cold winter night, everything changed. It was almost dinner time when Buddy perked up. The wind howled outside, and snowflakes drifted gently to the ground. Buddy always knew when Mr. Rowan's truck was coming. He recognized the sound of the engine, the rhythm of the tires on the gravel. But tonight, there was nothing. Just silence. A deep, unsettling silence. Buddy paced near the fence, sniffing the air, his ears turning in different directions. Hours passed. The sky grew darker. The town's streetlights flickered on one by one. Still no sign of his owner. Finally, close to midnight, a police car slowly drove down the street. Its lights flashing but sirens off, it pulled up near the fence. 2 officers stepped out. Buddy barked once. Not aggressively, Gust. A curious, questioning bark. The officers walked toward the house and knocked on the door. A neighbor, Mrs. Coleman, an elderly woman who lived across the street, hurried over after seeing the lights. "Is something wrong?" she asked anxiously. One officer turned to her. "There's been an accident. A man named Rowan, John Rowan. He's been taken to County General Hospital." Mrs. Coleman gasped softly. "Is he all right?" The officer replied. "He's alive, but he's in critical condition. We're notifying people in the area, in case someone can look after his place." Buddy watched all of this from behind the fence. His tail slowly stopped wagging. His ears lowered. He sensed something was terribly wrong. For the first time in years, Mr. Rohan didn't come home. By early morning, neighbors tried bringing Buddy inside their homes. They offered warm food, blankets, and shelter from the cold. But Buddy refused. He kept returning to the gate, sitting in the same spot where he always waited. He didn't bark. He didn't eat. He just watched the road waiting for the familiar old truck to return. Mrs. Coleman even brought him warm soup in a bowl. "Come on, sweetheart. It's freezing out here," she said softly. But Buddy only nudged the bowl away and pressed his head against the wooden fence, staring at the snowy road, his breath creating small clouds in the cold air. Word about the loyal dog spread quickly across the neighborhood. People admired him. Some even cried, seeing his devotion. But no matter how hard they tried to coax him inside, Buddy stayed. Days passed. Snow piled along the sidewalk. Icicles formed under the roof, and Buddy remained at the gate, waiting. On the 4th night, while the wind whistled and the moon hid behind clouds, Buddy suddenly stood up. The fur on his back bristled. His ears sharpened. He heard something faint, distant, but alarming. Footsteps, but not Mr. Rowan's. These were slow, dragging, uncertain, coming from behind the house. Buddy growled low. A tall figure stumbled into the backyard, slipping on the icy ground. He wore a dark jacket, hood pulled low, and moved like someone searching for something valuable. Buddy barked loudly, sprinting toward the backyard. The stranger froze. He clearly didn't expect the dog to be there. "Quiet, you mutt," the man hissed, reaching into his jacket. Buddy barked again louder, fiercer, alerting the entire neighborhood. The man staggered backward, slipping on the icy steps. He cursed, hurriedly, pulling out a metal tool. He jammed it under the back window, trying to pry it open. Buddy lunget. He didn't bite to injure, he bit to protect. His teeth clamped onto the man's jacket sleeve, pulling with all his strength. The man panicked, swinging his arm wildly, but he held on, growling fiercely, refusing to let go. Mrs. Coleman, awakened by the noise, peeked through her curtains and gasped, "Oh, dear Lord, Buddy." She grabbed her phone and dialed 911. The intruder freed himself, stumbling away as Buddy continued barking, chasing him out of the yard. The stranger slipped again, before bolting into the woods behind the neighborhood. Within minutes, police cars arrived. 2 officers inspected the window, the footprints, and the tool marks. "This dog saved the house," one officer said. He scared off the intruder before he could break in. Buddy stood in the snow, chest heaving, but his eyes were still fixed on the direction where the man fled, ready to protect again if needed. The next day, the neighborhood gathered near the gate. They discussed the attempted break-in and Buddy's bravery. Everyone agreed the dog needed proper shelter and care. Later that afternoon, a hospital staff member arrived in a small white car. She walked toward the group and asked, "Is this where John Rowan lives?" "Yes," Mrs. Coleman replied worriedly. "Is he?" The woman nodded gently. He woke up. "He's stable now." Everyone let out a relieved sigh except Buddy, who only tilted his head. "He kept asking about his dog," the staff member added. He said, "Please, take care of Buddy. Tell him I'm coming home." Buddy whimpered softly, as if he understood. The woman smiled. "We can bring him a picture of Buddy. It might help him recover faster." Mrs. Coleman crouched and petted the dog. "Hear that, sweetheart? Your owner is fighting to come back to you." Buddy licked her hand once, finally showing a small sign of relief. A weak pace. Buddy remained alert at the gate, though this time he ate the food neighbors offered. His eyes still searched the road constantly. Every car, every engine sound, every crunch of tires on snow, he checked them all. Then, one sunny morning, the familiar sound Buddy had been waiting for echoed down the street. A rusty old truck, slowing down. Buddy's ears shot up. His tail began to wag uncontrollably. He sprinted to the gate just as the truck parked in front of the house. The door opened. A man stepped out slowly, thinner, paler, but smiling. "Buddy," Mr. Rowan whispered. "Buddy bark, not the warning bark. Not the protective bark, but the joyful, trembling, emotional bark of a dog reunited with the person he loved most." He leaped onto Mr. Rowan, tail swinging wildly, licking his face nonstop. Mr. Rowan laughed through tears, hugging the dog tightly, despite the pain in his ribs. "I heard what you did," he sighed softly. "You protected our home, even when I wasn't here." Neighbors watched from afar, wiping their eyes. Mrs. Coleman smiled warmly. "You've got yourself a hero there, John," she said. Mr. Rowan nodded, placing a hand on Buddy's head. "He's more than a hero," he replied. "He's family." From that day forward, Buddy became known across the town not just as a loyal dog but as the brave guardian who stood watch through snow, danger, and loneliness. His devotion touched everyone who learned his story, and every evening, when the sun sets behind the pine trees and the town grows quiet once more, Buddy lies beside the porch, step still watching, still guarding, still waiting faithfully for the man he loves. Because loyalty like his never fades. Loyalty is not measured by words, but by actions taken when no one is watching. Buddy teaches us that love isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's simply staying, waiting, protecting, and choosing loyalty even in the hardest moments. He reminds us that kindness creates bonds that last a lifetime, and that even the smallest act of compassion can return to us in the most unexpected, life-saving way. Have you ever experienced loyalty from a pet that you will never forget? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to read them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories.